A path being charted to get cash-strapped Liat back on the right financial track. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Tuesday, March 12th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves says progress has been made regarding the future direction of regional airline Liat. That report from the leader of one of the airline's shareholder governments followed an emergency meeting in Barbados on Monday evening that ran past midnight. The talks came against the background of shareholders' efforts to get Caribbean countries to contribute a total of $5.4 million in emergency funding needed to keep the airline in the sky. 11 destinations have been given until Friday to respond to the airline's minimal revenue guarantee proposals. Gonsalves says Monday evening's talks, which lasted more than 4 hours, involved Liat's management, shareholders, union leaders, and other officials. The workers were represented by the Leeward Islands Airline Pilots Association, LIALPA, and the Barbados Workers Union, but the unions declined to comment until they have reported to their members. Prime Minister Gonsalves sought to give the assurance that the shareholders were close to securing buy-in from Labour, even though the plan going forward would call for some sacrifice on their part. But he said the extent to which workers would be expected to sacrifice is still to be determined.
We made progress and we ended the meeting all holding hands together and singing "Bind Us Together, Lord, Bind Us." I think everybody is buying in to an amended restructuring plan where there is burden sharing, and the employees are prepared to bear some burdens. The extent of what is to be borne, we will know in a couple of days' time when they talk to their members, but we had a very positive response.
Liat's major shareholders are Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Dominica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The shareholder governments are targeting Guyana, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucia to make financial contributions to the Antigua-based airline that operates 491 flights weekly across its network of 15 destinations. While the St. Kitts and Nevis government says it has appointed a high-level advisory committee to thoroughly consider a number of proposals put forward by Liat. A government statement said the committee headed by Financial Secretary Hilary Hazel was set up after a 3-member Liat delegation made a presentation to the Twin Island Federation's cabinet on Monday. The statement gave no indication as to how soon the committee could report to the cabinet. In other news, the European Union on Tuesday named 5 Caribbean countries on a new list of non-cooperative tax jurisdictions. They are among 15 blacklisted based on screening by the European Union. EU finance ministers said Trinidad and Tobago has taken no commitments since the first blacklist adopted in 2017. And Barbados, Belize, Bermuda, and Dominica, which were on the 2017 list and moved to the grey list after making commitments, are now blacklisted for not following up. The EU said that over the course of last year, the Commission assessed 92 countries based on tax transparency, good governance, and real economic activity, as well as the existence of a zero corporate tax rate in finalizing the updated list. While reacting to the new list, the Dominica government says it is extremely disappointed that it has been included. The government said in a statement on Tuesday that Europe is acting unfairly and without proper justification. It says Dominica was put on the grey list in December 2017, notwithstanding the complete devastation that Hurricane Maria caused when it slammed into the island as a Category 5 storm. The government added that despite the widespread destruction, the EU gave the island no more time than any other country to comply with its demands. Dominica said that despite these very difficult and devastating circumstances and conditions, it ensured it complied with all the legislative changes requested by the EU. Carnival Cruise Lines has cancelled several scheduled calls to Antigua and Barbuda, and President of the Antigua and Barbuda Cruise Tourism Association, Nathan Dundas, says the Twin Island nation could lose a significant amount of money as a result. He said the cruise line did not give a reason for cancelling the calls of Carnival Breeze, Carnival Magic, Carnival Legend and Carnival Pride, which had been scheduled to sail to St. John's from November 2019 to 2020. The ships were expected to bring about 250,000 tourists. Dundas expressed concern that other cruise lines brands under the Carnival name, including Princess, Holland America and Seabourn, could follow suit, resulting in an even bigger impact on store owners, tour operators, bars, restaurants and other businesses that depend on the cruise sector. Carnival's cancellations come on the heels of the Antigua and Barbuda government signing a multi-million-dollar agreement with the London-based Global Ports Holdings for the development of the cruise port in the capital. Staying in Antigua, former regulator Leroy King, who's wanted in the U.S. on almost a dozen fraud charges, has suffered another legal blow in his bid to block his extradition. The Caribbean Supreme Court of Appeal on Monday dismissed his application for the matter to go before the Privy Council. But his attorney, Dr. David Dorset, says he will apply directly to the London-based court for special leave to appeal. King, former administrator of the Financial Services Regulatory Commission, is accused of 11 charges stemming from the $7 billion Ponzi scheme carried out by financier Alan Stanford, who is now serving a 110-year prison term in the U.S. The U.S. made its request for King's extradition back on June 24, 2009. Meantime, Indian fugitive Mihail Choksky will later this month appeal a decision by the High Court in Antigua and Barbuda in his extradition case. The diamond mogul, who is wanted in his homeland for his alleged involvement in a massive bank scam, had been given Antiguan citizenship under the country's Citizenship by Investment program before the charges were brought against him. Through his attorney, Dr. David Dorset, he has sought to have expert evidence from an Indian lawyer admitted into evidence, but the judge ruled against that.
We thought that evidence would be very relevant to the issue as to the legality of the extradition request made by the Indian government. Our application was denied. We're seeking leave to appeal the decision. The hearing of that application is on the 19th of March.
After 10 years, Russian bauxite company Rusal has finally recognized the Guyana Bauxite and General Workers Union as the official representative for workers. The development comes as the union and Rusal remain at odds over the company's decision to fire scores of workers last month. Newsroom Guyana's Isanella Patois has that story.
Starting on Friday, Rusal will engage in bilateral meetings with the Guyana Bauxite and General Workers Union so that its operations can return to normalcy. This was announced after a meeting with the Chief Labor Officer, Charles Ogle, the Bauxite Union, and Rusal's management on Tuesday at the Department of Labor, Brickdam, Georgetown.
The company has decided, the company has made it clear that it's the recognized union and we're going to be working together. We have to work together in the interests of workers, the interests of the company, in the interests of the nation.
President of the Bauxite Union, Lincoln Lewis, told the media Tuesday that the union is looking for a way forward with the company.
The union shall submit to the company by tomorrow his list that is like to form part of the discussion. And the company will submit to the union what it considers to be important for the discussion.
But even with this development, the workers are continuing their protest action by blocking the Berbice River, preventing the passage of Rusal's barges until there is an amicable solution to the issue.
They are open to dialogue, not recommendation. We have not discussed the issues one by one.
The union president said the rehiring of the fired workers will definitely be part of the discussions as the company is open to dialogue with the union. Rusal had already informed the government that it has no intentions to rehire the fired employees. According to Lewis, the discussions with the company will establish trust and confidence in building a relationship with the company. A dispute with 61 workers and the bauxite company started on February 15th when the workers protested a 1% increase in their wages and salaries. The 61 workers were subsequently fired by the company, and late last month another 30 were fired. Rusol had refused to recognize the union and also refused to attend previous meetings with the Labor Department.
This is approximately 10 years. This struggle has been on.
The union president assured that the union will keep the Labor Department updated on its discussions with Rusol.
Still to come in Caribbean Newsline, police in Trinidad and Tobago to undergo random drug testing. The details after the break.
Jump up to this non-stop turn and twist.
What up, it's your boy French Montana.
It's me, Smokey Robinson.
It's your boy David Doe.
Hi, I'm Elmay.
This is Buju Banton, and I'll be performing live with the Shiloh Band in St. Kitts Music Festival.
Don't miss the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival, June 26th to June 30th, 2019, featuring Buju Banton, Smokey Robinson, Popcorn, and Elmay. Also, Davido, French Montana, Fimba, Edwin Yearwood and Crossfire, Coco T, Skinny Fabulous, Shal Marshall, Charlie Black, Farmer Nappy, Nadia Batson, Infamous, New Vibes Band, and many, many more. It will be epic. It will be mind-blowing. It will be jaw-dropping. It will be awesome. The St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other. For more information and to buy tickets, log on to www.stkittsmusicfestival.com.
The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, the TTPS, is to begin conducting random drug testing on officers. And top cop Gary Griffith, who issued the directive, will be the first to be tested. The details in this report from CNC3's Ria Rambley.
In another attempt to clean up the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, its commissioner is implementing random drug testing for all officers, including special reserves. The move comes months after Gary Griffith implemented polygraph testing across the service. In a release on Monday, the TTPS says the directive is in accordance with Section 93.3 of the Police Service Regulations, which gives the commissioner the power to order random drug testing for abuse of dangerous drugs by any officer. Section 151 of the regulations states that any officer who is found to be engaged in drunkenness or drug taking, drinking on duty or soliciting a drink, drinks intoxicating liquor while he's on duty, demands or endeavors to persuade any other person to give him or to purchase or obtain any intoxicating liquor while he's on duty, or report to duty under the influence of intoxicating liquor or with the odor of intoxicating liquor on his breath, commits a disciplinary offense and is liable to be charged with such. The TTPS says this is a proactive approach aimed at minimizing the possibility of police officers being addicted to illegal drugs, which can hamper performance and ensure that officers do not become involved in any type of criminal activity. Officers have been notified that random testing across the TTPS will begin in 2 months' time and will continue indefinitely. The top cop has requested that he be the first person to be polygraphed and drug tested.
Well, Commissioner Griffith told CNC3 News that what he's been doing has always been provided for, although never implemented. He says he's utilizing it now as part of his effort to clean up the police force as quickly as possible.
I'm doing it involves the transformation of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, whereby we have systems and there are opportunities to ensure that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service can be a disciplined and a professional service. Now, I cannot answer why this was not done in the past, similar to the option of polygraph testing as I'm doing with officers of the Southwestern Peninsula. But there again, these are systems to ensure performance can be measured, and it provides an opportunity to make sure that we can have a degree of accountability. And if persons are not accountable, then there will be consequences. But if you do not have systems to ensure that there is performance measurement and that you do not have, then what will happen is that if persons are aware that there are no consequences, the product of opportunity becomes easily accessible for them.
Questioned about the consequences of failing a drug test, the police commissioner was quick to point out that would not necessarily result in an officer losing his job.
This is a concept of ensuring we can also help officers. Yeah. Because if someone has failed something like this doesn't necessarily mean that the officer is to be immediately fired. It may very well be based on a personal matter, and he may need some degree of counseling and EAP. And if it is that it becomes something of a serious nature, depending on the type of drug, well, there are different consequences.
In other news, the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority announced Tuesday that it would withhold approval for an airline company to use the Boeing 737 MAX aircraft, the same model plane involved in Sunday's Ethiopian Airlines crash, until a definitive cause of that accident has been determined. The plane crashed shortly after takeoff from the Addis Ababa airport, killing all 157 people on board. Several airlines, including one here in the Caribbean, Cayman Airways, have since suspended the use of the planes. The Guyana Civil Aviation Authority said no aircraft of that type currently operates into Guyana, but one operator had submitted an application to add this type of aircraft to its fleet. Meanwhile, in Trinidad, the main opposition United National Congress on Tuesday called on government to take immediate action to suspend Caribbean Airlines' intended lease of 12 of the aircraft. A statement from the UNC called on Transport and Works Minister Rohan Sinanan, who is responsible for the Civil Aviation Authority, to follow other countries in implementing a ban on airlines using this particular aircraft as a precautionary measure. Ahead in Newsline Sport, Jamaica could be the territory to tip the scale in the Cricket West Indies upcoming elections.
So I'm adding a little bit of salt, some basic Caribbean green seasoning. This is a really simple Caribbean seasoning blend. The pimento or seasoning peppers, hot peppers. To the pot now, I'm adding some curry powder, some turmeric, some roasted ground jeera, and some black amchar masala. And once it's ready, it'll look very grainy and dry, and you'll see the oil separating. So now is a good time to add your seasoned chicken in.
Make sure that your seatbelts are now securely fastened. All tray tables placed in the upright and locked position.
That sauce being some attention being paid to the sauce on the side of Team Barbados. Looks like she's very happy with it. So oh, Bajan pepper sauce I'm being told. One Caribbean. Chef Barry is passing by me. I should get an idea of what he's thinking about what he's seeing here. Interesting concept.
Peter, just like you and his watch sometimes, Peter, because some of the concepts they come up with, we don't think about.
Topping our sports segment this Tuesday, as the March 24th election for a new Cricket West Indies executive draws near, there are reports that Jamaica could be the member territory to tip the scale on who will be the next president. TVJ's Daniel Blake has that story.
In 2017, Jamaican Dave Cameron secured a third term as president of Cricket West Indies after going unopposed. But this time around, the 47-year-old will be challenged by 62-year-old Ricky Skerritt, who is a former team manager of the West Indies and the current president of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Cricket Association. With a total of 12 votes, with 2 going to each of the 6 member territories, the cricket boards of Guyana, Barbados and the Windward Islands have revealed they will back Cameron. But the Leeward Islands and Trinidad and Tobago are expected to vote for Skerritt after supporting his nomination. Only the Jamaica Cricket Association hasn't announced who they will support in the election. Cameron announced recently that he will be holding a town hall meeting on March 21 in Kingston, 3 days before the election, to make a presentation to President Wilford Billy Heaven and the JCA. And Skerritt is also expected to arrive in the island soon as he looks to take the Jamaica vote. Heaven recently said he would listen to both candidates and not just vote for Cameron because he was Jamaican. The presidential election will take place during the Cricket West Indies annual general meeting on March 24 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in Kingston.
West Indies captain Jason Holder says he's pleased with the development shown by his team ahead of the World Cup and hopes to use the Tri-Nation Series in Ireland to put the finishing touches on preparations for the showpiece. West Indies players will come together again in May for their next ODI series involving Ireland and Bangladesh, and it's a period which Holder believes will be integral.
I mean, if I look at our performances, yeah, we were pretty pleased with them, and we are still down at number 8 or 9, so we just need to improve on that. I think there are lots of points to be had in the World Cup. You know, we've got a series before the World Cup in Ireland, so hopefully we can gather some momentum going into the World Cup and, you know, gather some more points in the World Cup.
West Indies have been given little chance at the World Cup, which runs from May 30th to July 14th, but Holder remained upbeat about the side going forward.
Having said that, I'm pretty pleased as a skipper, and you know, just a matter for us to keep building as a side. There are lots of positives throughout the entire series, and lots that we could take away from this series, and a lot of learning as well that we could take away. So I think all to play for now in the future. I think our next assignment is in Ireland in the Tri-Series, and we are looking forward to that.
Switching sports now, 2 members of Trinidad and Tobago's senior men's football squad will miss an international friendly with Wales after failing a drugs test. A Trinidad Guardian newspaper report stated that one of the Soca Warriors players is a former national under-17 and under-20 youth midfielder who made his international debut versus Curacao in June 2015. The other is a regular to the national team who plays as a striker. Head coach Dennis Lawrence is expected to hold a press conference on the matter before the team's scheduled departure for their match with the English-based club. It was initially rumored that 5 players were found positive for drugs, but the Trinidad Guardian report said a source close to the Football Association confirmed that only 2 had failed the test. Jamaica-born Guam international Shane Malcolm netted a hat-trick while reggae boy Deshaun Brown struck twice to lead a Caribbean scoring spree on the opening weekend of the United Soccer League. Playing at the Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California, the 27-year-old Malcolm scored once in the first half and added a brace in the second as his Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC thrashed LA Galaxy 2-4-1. In El Paso, Texas, Brown covered himself in glory as he fired OKC Energy FC to a 3-1 victory over El Paso Locomotive at Southwest University Park. At the Greater Nevada Field in Reno, the Jamaican pair of Brian Brown and Michael Seaton both got on the score sheet as Reno 1868 and FC Orange County battled to a 2-2 stalemate. In San Antonio, Jamaican Junior Flemings scored one and set up another, but it was fellow countryman Jason Johnson's injury time strike which helped Phoenix Rising come from behind to grab a thrilling 3-3 draw against the hosts at Toyota Field. Trinidad and Tobago's cycling head coach is impressed with the team's preparations for the Olympics. TNT finished 3rd in the world at the recently concluded UCI World Championships in Poland. However, in this report by TV6's Sergio Dufour, the Twin Island Republic's success did not go incident-free.
Of Jacine Phillip, Nicholas Paul, Kwesi Brown and Karen Bramble battled against the world at the recently held Cycling World Championships. Paul finished the tournament in 7th place, while Phillip, who took a tumble and had a DNF, finished in 18th. Coach of the team, Aaron Hartwell, says he is still looking over the footage.
That was a big crash, you know, to have your front wheel collapse at 75 kilometers an hour, you know, and to go what looked like to me face first into the track, you know, it was a pretty serious situation. You know, I'm glad that he came out relatively unscathed. The reality is we don't know what happened. You know, right now it's inconclusive.
Nonetheless, he says that the team did well.
But the reality is it's been a very hard 18, 19 months for everybody. And so 2 weeks light, easy. Let us focus on what's coming up down the road. Fortunately, we don't have a spring championship event like we had last year with the Commonwealth Games. So we've got a big 4-month preparatory block coming up that allows us to get into the summer season, in particular the Pan Am Games.
Looking at
Guyanese badminton player Narayan Ramadani copped gold in the team event and a bronze medal in singles at the Canadian Collegiate Athletic Association National Badminton Championships recently in Nova Scotia. We get more in this Newsroom Guyana report.
His impressive showing in the 4-day event, Ramadani, Guyana's leading player in the sport, is now ranked number 3 in Canada, number 1 in the Alberta Colleges Athletics Conference, and number 1 in King's University Eagles badminton team. Playing for King's University in the individual competition, the men's singles, Ramadani was able to win 3 matches and lose 2 in the round-robin playoff, making it to the semi-finals. In the semi-final, Ramadani lost to Nicholas Pittman of Concordia 17-21, 23-21, 12-21, but rebounded to defeat Hugh Zheng in the 3rd and 4th place playoff 21-15, 21-13 to take the bronze medal. Zheng, last year's silver medalist, had not dropped a match during the round-robin playoff. In the team championship, it was Ramadani's victory over Ramnish Kumar of Humber College that handed King's University the gold medal. He defeated Kumar 21-13, 16-21, 21-11 to spur his team to championship honours. The Guyana Badminton Association hailed Ramadani's performance as an extremely great accomplishment, highlighting his consistency over the years. Ramadani is on a 5-year scholarship in Canada, pursuing academics and a dream to one day represent Guyana at the Olympic Games.
And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Don't jump up to this non-stop turn and twist.
What up, it's your boy French Montana.
It's me, Smokey Robinson.
It's your boy Davido.
Hi, I'm Elme.
This is Buju Banton, and I'll be performing live with the Shiloh Band in St. Kitts Music Festival.
Don't miss the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival, June 26th to June 30th, 2019, featuring Buju Banton, Smokey Robinson, Popcorn, and Elme. Also, Davido, French Montana, Fimba, Edwin Yearwood and Crossfire, Coco T, Skinny Fabulous, Shal Marshall, Charlie Black, Farmer Nappy, Nadia Batson, Infamous, New Vibes Band, and many, many more. It will be epic. It will be mind-blowing. It will be jaw-dropping. It will be awesome. The St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other. For more information and to buy tickets, log on to www.stkittsmusicfestival.com.
Again, the major developments of this day: progress made regarding the future direction of cash-strapped regional airline Liat, and in sport, Jamaica could tip the scales on the decision for the next president of Cricket West Indies, and that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport round the clock, subscribe to CanaNews.com. For more of our programming, log on to CaribVision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back here again tomorrow, but from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and have yourselves a good night.
From idea to enterprise, the time is now 7 p.m.
Good night, I'm Lisa Lord, and in our news, a new cadres poll reveals deep concern about childhood obesity in Barbados. New legislation aimed at suppressing criminal activity and enabling the seizure of ill-gotten gains. Social media reacts to problems with public transport on the island. Barbados is on an EU blacklist. And in sports,